2 weeks today, recovery's going well. Pretty intense surgery. The patella was knocked out of position, was sitting quite a bit off, which led to a whole lot of other issues. When I get back in there, I'll be at a 110%.
What are your thoughts on the division, on the people around you?
I think it's a hell of a division. It could look very different whenever I'm fighting again.
Two bangers against Usman. How are they sitting with you? Like, I can see right now you're... it's
I don't know why I thought I was coming to terms with it, but I think he just...
Hello everybody and welcome to Between Rounds. I'm Dan Hardy and I'm joined of course by Paul Hughes. We had to get you on here because I'm not sure whether you've noticed, but they've only used one fighter's face repeatedly on the backdrop of this show, and it is you.
Is this so they're using this for each?
This is for every one of the shows.
Set?
So I mean, this really looks like your podcast.
This is great. Who designed this? Did I pay them off? Who was it, Andy?
Someone that loves you. I mean, your face is everywhere on it. I mean, well, this is a good opportunity. You've got a podcast, and we're going to record one at some point very soon, aren't we? Talk to me about your podcasting. How are you enjoying it?
Oh, look, it's only something I'm playing around with. Just a new skill that I want to learn. I've done it. I'm just doing short seasons at the minute. Last year, I'd done 6 episodes just before the fight in Belfast, and this year I'll do again probably another 6 to 8 episodes. But it's just a new skill. Like we were talking about doing. I'm doing some spots and commentary with you guys on Thursday, which I'm really looking forward to. I've done some commentary locally as well, and I find it fascinating. I absolutely love every second of it, truthfully. And the podcasting side of it, it's just a new skill. You know, it seems when you watch it, you seem like, oh, that couldn't be that difficult. But when you do it, you realize it's actually quite hard. And it's a good skill to learn. So yeah, just trying to do other things right now, you know.
Yeah, it's always interesting in like an interview context because some people feel like they're being interviewed, so they'll just give you the answer and then they'll wait for the next question. And then other people, they're very much conversational, and obviously with a longer form thing, you want a bit more of the conversational thing, and it's more challenging sometimes when people don't want to talk.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem I've had on this show so far. So you know, most of you guys, that you're very, very good at just kind of telling your story.
Yeah.
But what I like about this particular setup is that we don't always have to talk about fights. Obviously, you were planning on being on the card this weekend, this Thursday. You got injured. So I kind of want to start there, and you guys can see we've got a setup. Paul's got his leg elevated. We're supporting his foot with a glove, and as you said, not the way that you wanted to be using the glove this week. But
definitely not.
Like, talk to me about where you're at, what's happened, and where you're at in your recovery.
Yeah, I'm 2 weeks post-surgery today, and everything's going according to plan. I was seen by the top knee surgeon in the country. Of course, I wasn't going to go anywhere else, you know, with this injury, and with any injury really, I'm always going to be doing everything I can to make everything optimal. So 2 weeks today, recovery's going well. Pretty intense surgery, a tibial osteotomy it's called. I had to break my tibia, shave some of it off, reposition the patella, which that's exactly what the issue was. The patella was knocked out of position, was sitting quite a bit off, which led to a whole lot of other issues, which then obviously led to me having to pull out.
As in like a longer term injury, or was that done? Did that happen?
It happens over time, but really? You know, we were for a period of time treating the symptoms and like doing a great job and like nailing in recovery and like trying to keep pushing through. But when I met with a surgeon, then he told me what the cause was, and that was the patella had ended up being knocked like well out of position just through me trying to push through the pain, trying to make it to the fight essentially. So that all had to be repositioned then. So it was quite a major enough surgery.
Can you look back on previous training camps and realize where it may have been holding you back at all in your preparation?
Yeah, for sure. But look, this is the game, isn't it?
I know we don't make excuses, but sometimes there's a good excuse to be had, right? And like, this sounds to me like something that you've been kind of working around and dealing with for a while. So almost like you're going to be a different type of fighter once this is healed.
I certainly am, brother. I certainly am, and that is something that's really exciting about this all, is knowing that, you know, when I have this now repaired, and when I get back in there, I'll be at a 110%. So that's an exciting prospect, and it's something that's definitely keeping me like kind of motivated throughout this.
Yeah, it must have been a difficult moment, especially when you kind of had that internal realization that, no, I'm not fighting. And like, what was the time between you having that realization and then everybody else finding out?
Do you know what it was? Like, as I say, I was trying to push through. I was doing everything that I could. There were some days where I was thinking this could be possible. Obviously, I was just pushing the physical and mental limits as I do. But there was just one day in sparring where it just wasn't coming together. It was just too painful. It was stopping me from. I just wasn't able to train. Put it like that. Like how are you supposed to get in there and fight when you can't even train? And it was a sparring day. My team were all there anyway because they'd be watching my sparring. And that kind of day, everything just came to a head. And I think I was fighting it on that day still because I trained my mind to fight it. But I think on that day is when the team were just like, we can't let you do this anymore. Like you're putting your health and your long-term career like on the line here.
Yeah.
And the fact just is I just wasn't able to train. I wasn't able to fight. And I was trying, I'd done everything I could, but it is what it is. Yeah.
So what's the timeline then? When can you get back to training and how long do you have to immobilize it?
I'm going to have to just see how the recovery process goes. As I say, it's an intense enough surgery. Hoping, towards the end of the year, all being well, that would be a pretty good timeline for me, but potentially early next year.
So let's just look back then on what you've achieved so far since you've signed with the PFL, because, I mean, incredible performances, wins. AJ McKee, an incredible victory for you. 2 bangers against Usman. How are they sitting with you? Like, I can see right now you. It's
I don't know why I thought I was coming to terms with it, but I think you just saying that, it's making me go, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to keep going, bro. I wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
It just means everything to me. I literally give everything, and I really believed that I was, gonna right the wrongs, and come back and do that. But this must be done. Like, this is just a part of the game, and this is another obstacle for me. How do I reflect on it all? It is ultimately very positive, of course. Like, do I want to be coming off 2 world title losses last year? No. Do they feel like really bad losses? No. Because of where I was before. At the beginning of 2025 to the end of it was a completely different stratosphere. 2 world title fights, a fight at home, 3 sold-out shows, 3 massive fights. I went literally from here to here. Like, so how could I possibly be sad about that? I've completely and utterly changed my life in the space of a year. 6 fights in 18 months I had since coming here. So that was heavy. And obviously the body's it's paying its price now, but I have absolutely zero regrets, and I'm certainly very, very proud of what I've accomplished in such a short period of time.
Talk to me about the lightweight division. I mean, now we've got rankings as well, so you can kind of see where everybody else falls. We've got Derek Kelly stepping into your spot against JJ Wilson. We've got Gadzi Rabadanov taking on Alex Chizov coming up very soon.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement in the lightweight division, and a lot of people that are, maybe a couple of fights away from a title shot. Obviously you got Archie Colgan is, looking like he's going to be in there for the next one. What are your thoughts on the division, on the people around you?
I think it's a hell of a division. I think it could look very different whenever I'm fighting again. I think it could look very different. Like, who knows what Usman is doing next? The whole division could look very different. It could be a different champion, could be different contenders. Like you talk about Rabadanov and Chizov there. Chizov had a big win in the European final last year, was seriously impressive to me. I certainly have my eyes on that. Even Conor Hughes, he fought that night, I think is very good. It could be, it's a hell of a division. Like, I would say, obviously I'm biased, but I think it's the strongest division in the PFL for sure, and across the whole sport, to be honest.
Who are you watching when you're being a fan of MMA? Who do you like watching? And you can go back into earlier days in your career when you were getting into MMA. Like what fighters inspired you? What fighters did you learn from?
Early days, someone who really inspired me was TJ Dillashaw.
Oh yeah.
his style, because he came up with that kind of new style to a degree, that MMA striking, and his wins against Barao. I remember just rewatching whenever I was coming up, and that was seriously impressive to me. That's one that came to mind. Like recently, I love watching like obviously like guys like Tupuria, is very, very good at the minute. There's so many good fighters to watch right now. I find myself only kind of appreciating the really top guys now, because it's kind of hard for me to watch guys like, say, even fighting, like there's, for an example, like Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the UFC lightweight title, and I couldn't even watch it. I was so disappointed at the skill level. I was like, this is really disappointing, that how bad both these guys are. Like I would destroy both of them, so it was kind of disappointing. But there's plenty of good guys to watch for sure.
So who are across divisions then, across promotions and everything? Who are the top 3 lightweights in the world right now, do you think?
Although Max just got beat by Oliveira, in fact, I'm going to put them 2 up there along with maybe Tupuria, obviously the champion. Just off the top of my head, I love to watch Max Holloway. I think he's just the best. I love his style. I absolutely love his style. His fights against Gaethje, then Poirier there, were phenomenal. Like, I know, again, Charles done really well against him, but I think them performances were incredible. Really, really, like, good to watch.
Can you quantify what it is about those performances that you like?
How he layers the game from round 1 to round 5. That's what I'm interested in. That's why why I bring up someone like the Gaethje Pimblett one, because it's just dog shit. It's like there's no layering, there's no anything. Whereas someone like Holloway is, from round 1, you can see what he's starting to set up, and you can see how he just builds. And if you give him a sniff, he takes it. It's phenomenal to watch. That's my kind of style. Like I'm setting things up from round 1 that I know I'm going to land in round 5.
It's very interesting you talk about that, because I find myself doing the same a lot of the time now. I find myself, even, I mean, just subconsciously I'll lose interest because I feel like there aren't games within games being played. People aren't trying to set things up. It's a lot of button mashing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I know this technique and I'll throw it. You know what I mean? Like, why do you think that is? Why do you think there are only so few fighters that are, you know, utilizing their footwork and cage control, using feints to set people up? Because a lot of it,
do you know what I think it is? I think it's lack of good coaching.
Really?
I think it's lack of good coaching. Do you know what? I mean, that sounds a bit harsh, because there obviously isn't. In fact, I take that back, because there are incredible coaches. But why I think you don't see it as much at that highest level is because a lot of guys can get to a really high level in the sport just by being really fit and really game and like able to absorb a lot of damage. A lot of guys get to the top of the sport for them attributes. It's kind of crazy, to be honest, to me, how like technically poor some people are, but they can get to such a high level. But I think there's few that have all of them attributes plus the technical ability. I think it's hard to have all of them attributes. It is quite hard to have that and to perform like that and to have a good enough camp that can bring you to that level. It's still like, we've still got a good way to go in this sport. You know, I watch some fights on the weekends and I can't believe how bad they are. This could be a UFC pay-per-view, this could be a PFL top show, and some of the skill level of fights, I'm like, we're quite behind. I might sound like such a dickhead right now, to be honest, but look, like, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, be honest. Look, and you can take it back, but I agree with you. I actually had this conversation with one of my old coaches in Chicago this weekend, Jimmy Gifford. He was there with Biagio Ali Walsh, and Jimmy Gifford was my boxing coach. And when I was on a losing streak, I moved to Vegas, and he kind of rebuilt my camp around me. And he said something, and I've heard a few other people say it as well. There are lots of pad men and not many coaches, not many teachers. You know what I mean? And I think part of it is because fighters like yourself, when they get to the end of their career, they're not coming back into the gym to pass it on. Very few, like Mike Brown and Robbie Lawler, you find them walking back into the gym as a coach.
I've trained with Robbie a good bit, and he's
Have you
coached me a
really?
good bit, and it's been really good to pick his brain in Killcliff a few times. He's phenomenal.
He was
He's
always
the
one of
best.
my favourites, Robbie was.
Yeah.
Who else, Killcliff, stood out to you?
Coaching wise, you
Yeah,
mean?
well, either
Obviously,
training and
you've got Henry, who's obviously there. I actually learned a lot from Nick Lentz. Nick Lentz gave me a lot of really good details.
He has so much experience as well,
Yes,
doesn't he?
fought everybody. Him and Robbie, I picked up an awful lot from actually. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Lentz is a great shout. He's one of those fighters that he had so much experience, didn't always work out his way, but was able to solve a lot of problems by using his fight IQ.
Yeah.
What do you do to push on your fight IQ? Is it down to the coaches around you that has led you in this way? Are you naturally quite an introspective and calculated person aside from MMA?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so for sure. I genuinely believe that the best fighters in the world oftentimes are the most self-aware, because I don't think you can get to that level without like truly taking a step back and studying your style and studying your training methodologies and like, what am I doing these days that's really gonna get me to where I need to be. Like, I think that requires a great deal of self-awareness, and I think that the greatest champions we've ever seen are certainly some of the most self-aware. You look at like the GSPs, you look at like the Adesanyas whenever he was in top. Like, these are people who can think well, and again, as we talked about earlier, these attributes, to have it all, the work ethic, like that dog, which you know you need, that cardio, but then the technical, or sorry, the mental capabilities, it's hard to come by to have that full package. Like, so I'd like to think that I definitely have that. Like,
is there anybody that you haven't trained with that you would like to? Any coaches or fighters? Anyone that you're like, man, I'd love to spend a couple of hours picking his brain?
Good question. The first one that came to mind there, just because I've seen it in social media a lot recently, is the strength conditioning guy, that Kazmat and Armin and these guys, and Dillashaw actually back in the day, the garage guy.
Yeah.
I would love to go just try one of them workouts, just because I love to push the absolute boundaries when it comes to like my cardio sessions. That's more that aspect. But see, to be honest, bro, I genuinely believe in my team so much that what I want to do is go have a private with my coach. You know, I want to go do a grappling session with Pat, or I want to drive up the road and go train with Ryan Roddy and see what he's learned recently, because that's always new, and they're on the absolute cutting edge. I'm sure there's a lot of coaches around the world, but like, I believe in my team so much that like that truly is my answer. Like, I want to go up the road and train with Ryan and see what he's picked up in the last few weeks.
That's awesome.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a
like
great place to be.
that's yeah.